What's good? It's Purge, and we are on day 4 of talking about a show that aired this week. And it is Thursday, so we're going to be talking about a Wednesday show. Now, there are a lot of shows that air on Wednesday nights, more than you'd expect. But there's no show I'd rather talk about than Abbott Elementary. To put it simply, this show is great. It's simple, but it's great. It's one of those shows like Community, which has a very simple premise, but the show is carried by its writing, comedy, and the characters. Like this show really is like something to be celebrated, and it is celebrated because it won an Emmy. Not that I care about that, but yeah, it's a very great show. It's about the show is made by Quinta Brunson, who also stars in it, and it's about her character Janine Teagues, a second grade teacher who is very like upbeat and happy, which is great, but it often clashes with her co-workers, who are more, down. I don't want to say that they're like sour, but they're like, they're less enthusiastic as Janine is. But Janine is so great because she's just happy with her job. Like, she loves doing what she's doing, and the rest of the characters also enjoy doing it. It's just that they recognize that it's not all fun and games, even though they are working with kids. Like, it's a really hard job. It's tough. But they make it clear that, like, if they didn't enjoy doing it on some level, then they wouldn't do it, because it's not great working conditions. They don't get paid super great, but they love their jobs, or at least like it to an extent. If they didn't, they wouldn't do it. And I think that's something that's very special. To kind of go through the rest of the cast, you have Gregory, played by Tyler James Williams, everybody hates Chris, who was originally a substitute teacher, but he later on got promoted to a full-time job. Although he originally applied to be the principal of Abbott Elementary, but that leads us into our next character, Ava Coleman, who is the principal. If there is anything that you know about the show, if you've never seen it, you don't know much about the show, if there's one thing you know about the show, it's her. Like, she is the best. And by that, I mean she's the worst. But she's just the best at it. She is just the most terrible, mean, but like always with a smile kind of person. She makes fun of Janine a lot, but she's kind of like playful with it, but she's always hurt when she says those things to her, and she like never like tones it down. Like, there's always, like, she's always just doing something, being rude. Just it's so, like, it's funny when she does it. Like, it's not to the point where it's like, wow, she really needs to cool it down. Like, no, like, this is funny. Like, how far is she gonna go? She'll go that far. Janine will be having like a nervous breakdown, and she'll just be like taking a video of it. Like, that's literally what happened in this episode that aired last night. Like, oh man. And yeah, she's a bad principal. That's the point. Like, the show isn't trying to convince us that she's a good principal. No, the show makes it very clear she is terrible at her job. But there's a very specific reason why she has it. I'm not going to say what it is, but yes, they do explain why she got the job. Okay, fine, I'll explain it. Basically, she blackmailed the superintendent because he was cheating on his wife or whatever. But yeah, that's how she got her job. No other reason but that. Then you have Melissa. I don't want to say she's aggressive, but like, she's definitely the most like assertive of the group. Like, the rest of the teachers, they'll be a little like passive aggressive when it comes to certain things, but like, she always says what's on her mind. She's like the straightforward. I mean, not straightforward in that she's like no nonsense. Like she's definitely about nonsense. She's just like, you know, she'll say what's on her mind, and it's less goofy than when Ava does it. But like she's more like, you know, she's like persistent, like on her what she needs to say. You know, she doesn't hide everything with a smile. Like she says what's on her mind. So yeah. Then you have Jacob. He's like the white male of the group. Most of the cast are minorities and females, but he's the white male who also happens to be gay. He is constantly trying to be like woke and stuff. Like he's that kind of person. But people like this doesn't go without like being commented on. Like in the first episode, Ava tells Jacob to make fun of Janine, and the first thing he says is about her hair. It's like, all right, no, you're done. Like, stop. like that was funny. That was pretty good. But no, he's good-hearted. Like, he's not like trying to be, you know, insensitive. He just doesn't know. Like that's his kind of thing, you know. Last but not least, you have Barbara Howard. She's like the elder of the group. She's a person that Janine looks up to, but Barbara is like more straightforward, less of the nonsense kind of person. But yeah, she kind of has a hard time like adapting to the times. Like she's that kind of person, but she makes it clear that she also like enjoys being here and is always there to help. Like she just you know, needs to warm up a little, that kind of thing. So the show touches on like inner city schools and how they can be underfunded and therefore not have the necessary resources for all their students, and how that can like cause troubles in the ways kids learn. But the show is also a lot of fun. You know, they show that like, yeah, there's a lot of work, but there's a lot of fun that can come into it. Like being able to host a step class, being able to what else did they do? Have, you know, assemblies, that kind of thing. So yeah, like there's ups and downs, but ultimately it's a lot of fun. It's good stuff. And the show touches on a lot of interesting things about having to both teach and learn at one of these schools. Like having to talk to a child's parent because they're bringing them late to school and they're missing out on important things. And also about like, you know, they talk about the gifted program and how, yeah, it can help a lot of people become ahead, but the consequence of that is that a lot of kids will feel left out and left behind. And so maybe you don't need to have a gifted program necessarily, but, you know, make sure that each student has their place to be gifted and be able to show off what their talents are. Like that's very interesting, and I like that they touched on it, you know. So last night they premiered the second season, and I recently rewatched the first season, and I liked it even more the second time. You know, the first time I was like, yeah, this is a pretty quaint little show. The second time I was like, yeah, this is something a little special. Like, definitely deserves praise. But yeah, the episode is called Developmental Day or Development Day, one of those two, where everyone's getting ready for the new school year. Janine is still getting over her breakup with Tyreek. This dude, Tyreek is the most ridiculous person ever. It's like whenever they hug, they have to like pretend to. Janine pretends to throw money at him. It's like that's like, just the most ridiculous dude ever. But yeah, she's getting over the breakup, and to compensate for it, she's basically trying to do it all. You know, like trying to get ready for the school year, trying to get Gritty, the mascot of the Flyers, to come for the kids. Like, she's trying to do it all, but at the same time, she's dealing with the possibility of being evicted and having to deal with all of Tyreek's parking tickets, where she's like, no, that's his tickets. I'm my own person. But it's like that's good for her, but it's your car, so you still gotta pay the tickets. And on top of that, she messed up the date for the mascot to come in, and it's like everything feels like she's just like, to her, everything's just like falling down. It's like basically everyone's just like, all right, come on, talk to us. What's going on? It's like she's dealing with all these things. It's like, yeah, they understand. Like, on one hand, you're not supposed to you can't just let work interfere with, or you can't let your home interfere with your work. But at the same time, it's like, if it's causing this much trouble, it's like, you gotta tell someone. Like, you gotta let us help you. Yeah, I thought it was great that they helped her like that. They talked to her. It's like, it's really important. Like, you don't want to burn yourself out. Like, that's really a great thing that they came in and helped her. And the rest of the characters have really good stories too. Gregory is trying to like plan every second of his first year of full-time teaching, like to the very second, and it's like not planning on things going wrong or whatever. And basically like, yeah, you just gotta prepare, play it by ear. Jacob is learning sign language because one of his students uses sign language, and apparently so does Gritty, the mascot. That's very interesting. Melissa has to deal with combining her second and third grade class, which means extra kids for her to deal with, and it's just like, yeah, you just gotta approach it, be prepared for it. Barbara is trying to get a special desk and a ramp installed for a student that uses a wheelchair, so that's very great of her to do. And Ava is having a tailgate for the Eagles on the school property. Yeah, terrible principal. Funny character, terrible principal. So yeah, that was the episode, and I'm really excited for this season. I think they've set up a lot of good things. That was good that they had beginning of the season be the beginning of the school year. Like, that's a very great framing thing, But yeah, can't wait to see the rest of the season. Catch y'all tomorrow.